Everybody, and welcome back to No Time for Neutral. I'm your host, Georgia Hawthorne.
And I'm Andy.
And Andy, we are less than a week out from primary day.
Woohoo! I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, but dear God, these first 6 months have gone by so fast.
They have. It's been very much a blur to me.
Yeah, it's been simultaneously like 6 hours, but also I think I've lived like three lifetimes since January,
Yes.
but whatever.
A lot has happened in American and Montana politics. A lot has
No,
happened.
no kidding. It is the news cycle that never stops. But speaking of Montana elections, it is too late to mail your ballot back. If you are listening to this episode, it is too late. It will not get to the elections office in time, and it has to be received by 8 p.m. on election day. So don't put your ballot in the mail. What we're going to do is you're going to drop it off at your county elections office or an official ballot drop box before 8 p.m. on June 2nd.
Yes.
And trust me, you're not alone. I still have my ballot sitting on my desk because I need to go drop it off. So find an official drop box and handle it before the weekend.
It may be too late to mail your ballot, but it's not too late to register to vote.
Also true. Thanks to a recent Supreme Court ruling here in Montana, election day registration is protected. And as far as registration, voting in person, you can do both. You can show up on election day, say, hi, I'm not registered. I need to register and I want to vote today. And you should have no issues with that. If you don't receive a mail ballot and you're an in-person voter, you can do that at any point your elections office is open between now and election day. You absolutely do not have to wait until next Tuesday. May I even recommend not waiting until next Tuesday, if at all possible?
Yeah. I always encourage people vote early if you possibly can. You never know what's going to happen. Like maybe you had great intentions of going in after work on Tuesday, the election day, but you never know what can happen. And then
Flat
by 8
tire.
o'clock, flat tire. And by 8 o'clock, you're done. But I know there are those people that enjoy the tradition of going in and casting their
Mm-hmm.
vote in the booth. You know, if that's your thing, that's your thing. And have
More
pride in
power to you. Just give
that.
yourself a time buffer, please, for my
Yeah,
sake.
make a
So if
plan.
you're just to recap, if you're turning in a mail ballot, make sure you've got your signature, your date, your birth year. That all goes on the outside of your envelope, and it does not go in the mail. It goes in a drop box or you hand it to somebody in person at the elections office. If you miss one of those three things on your ballot envelope, it will get rejected by your county elections office. And
Yes.
what I'm hearing, at least in Cascade County, is that elections offices are being really slow to notify people that there's an issue with their ballot. Um, you can always track your ballot at voterportal.mt.gov. So if you put it in the mail a week ago, just make sure it got there, make sure it got there, make sure they accepted it, make sure there's no issues. And if there are issues, you can get those corrected before everybody and their mom is at the elections office on Tuesday. Andy, I had our data guy here at MDP pull a couple of numbers for me because we've been kind of talking nonstop about this birth year requirement.
Right.
I feel like I say it every 3 seconds. Don't forget your birth year. Don't forget your birth year.
And your
And
signature and the
yeah,
day.
and I'm sure everyone is sick and tired of hearing that,
Hmm.
but these numbers really prove it. So right now we are sitting at 1,518 rejected ballots for the 2026 primary. In 2022, which was our last midterm election, in that primary, on this exact day, 4 years ago, we had 774 rejected ballots,
Wow.
which is a 96% increase in ballot rejections in 4 years.
Nearly double.
And do you want to guess the difference between 2022 and now?
Tell me more.
Birth year requirement.
Ah,
It didn't go into effect until the 2025 session. And
Right.
so this is the first federal election that we're seeing this requirement in place. We got a little bit of a trial run with it with the municipal elections last fall. But this is our first federal race with this requirement. We're seeing more turnout, we're seeing more people show up. And so we're also seeing more rejected ballots because this is brand new for a lot of people. Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't vote in their local election in 2025. They haven't seen this before.
Yeah. So for our listeners, the reason we keep talking about it is because it is law. It is required when you vote. If you don't do it, like we said, it's rejected and your vote doesn't count. This was a Republican piece of legislation that was successful last session in 2024, 25.
25.
Yeah, 2025. And like it's voter suppression. Why is it voter suppression? Because we know that less people are going to get their voice heard through their vote because of this extra hurdle. And Georgia just laid out the facts. Since this time, you know, last year, twice as many ballots are being rejected.
Right?
Why? Because they have to do these three extra things: sign, date, and put your birth year on your ballot. So
The
it
thing that
sucks, but
really
what we have to do.
really irks me about the birth year requirement is that if you go back and you read the text of the bill that was passed, it's not your birth year, it's your birth date.
Oh. So it doesn't even reflect the actual legislation of the
Right. Like they couldn't even like do their own thing correctly.
Weird.
Yeah.
Hmm. I wonder if there's some sort of like privacy aspect that they just ended up, and I'm just hypothesizing here,
Oh, it could
but
be.
like
I'm
I
sure
wonder
there's a
if
couple of different reasons you could like frame that. Except for the part where the lady that is requiring my birthday, aka Christy Jacobson, gave all of my personal information to the federal government anyway, so I don't think she really cares.
that she did. Yeah. Yeah. And we're still trying to hold her accountable for that.
But that's how you cast your ballot. All of those little tips and tricks and how to's, make sure we get that ballot in, make sure it gets accepted. And if it gets rejected, let's clear it up sooner rather than later to avoid any hiccups. But who are you voting for? And that's up to all of you. We don't make those decisions here at the party. We are really excited for what has been a really robust primary season. I think we're all really excited to see who comes out on top and who our nominees are going to be through the fall. We gave a little bit of a rundown on the last episode, but I'll do it again just in case anyone is still trying to make their decisions, hasn't casted that ballot yet. In the Western District, so Montana's first congressional district, you have Russell Cleveland, Brian Bussey, Sam Forsag, and Matt Rains. In the Eastern District, which is Montana's second congressional district, you have Sam Lux and Brian Miller. There will be a third candidate on your ballot. Don't vote for that candidate. For the Senate race, there is Riley Neal, Alani Bankhead, Michael Blackwolf, Michael Hummert, and Christopher Kehoe. And then two other races that aren't as snazzy as the federal congressional races are our Public Service Commission seats. Andy, we talk about that a good bit on this show, but the PSC seats don't have primaries this time around, but you will see your candidate on your ballot. In the PSC 1 district, you have Angelin Cheek, and then in PSC 5, you have Kev Ham. So that's kind of your Democratic slate of candidates. Obviously, you've got choices for Senate and whatever congressional district you live in. If you're still trying to figure out what congressional district you live in, I know there has been some confusion with this. There's been a lot of excitement about the Western congressional race, MT1. So people are seeing a lot about that, but not everyone in the state lives in MT1, unfortunately. So if you're unsure, you can always reach out to us or put it into Google, and Google will let you know with your address as well.
Yeah. Very exciting time. Less than a week left to cast your ballot. I think this primary season, what I'm going to take away from this is choice. Like we as Democrats haven't always had a lot of choice in some of our elections, you know, being
Right.
a minority as of recent. Um, so this election, I just feel like super fortunate. Like every race, all the way down the ballot, like whether you're in an urban place or a more rural place in the state, you're more than likely going to have more choice than you've had in many elections.
Hmm.
Whether it be the House seat that's in your district or the Senate seat. I mean, we have five candidates running for the Senate that are Democrats.
Right.
Um, and there's even the legislature. MDLCC, the Montana Democratic Legislative Campaign
Committee.
Committee, thank you, which is a branch of the state party, set their own record basically this year
Yeah.
by recruiting the most Democratic candidates ever to run in all these districts. So
Right. We outfiled Republicans. We
we
had more
outfiled.
Democrats filed than Republicans did. Like, that is a major, major, major win.
Yeah, there's a lot of Democrats that are facing primaries that once they get past their primary don't have a Republican challenger in the fall,
Yeah, for sure.
which is great. Like they do a
Shout out our
wonderful
boy
play.
Paul Tuss up in Haver.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy, I think it's been a really exciting spring. And I think having all of these choices builds momentum.
Hmm.
Like we've got
It does.
incumbents that have primaries on the state level. Like they're going to become better candidates if they survive their primary.
Yeah,
Or we're going to get new blood. All of the like there is no downside to a primary, at least in my eyes. It just brings healthy competition,
totally.
especially in a party that like you were saying, like we don't have this opportunity all of the time.
Right. Completely agree. I think primaries are healthy, they're needed. It provides choice, which I keep
Mhm.
saying. It makes candidates work for it and become better candidates. The one thing I will say is, like as we get closer and closer to the election day, sometimes things get a little dicey, right? And we're throwing jabs at our own side, right? But we just need to remember whoever wins in these races, we got to come together and support the winner in November as a country.
Absolutely. We can disagree about this or that or whatever it is, but I promise you that any single one of these Democratic candidates is going to be better on behalf of working people than any Republican at this point in the game. And I hate to generalize because Montana is not a state that works like that, and it historically hasn't worked like that. And so I hate to talk in such specific, such black and white, but it is becoming more and more the norm. I mean, here in Great Falls, we've got some really nasty Republican primaries going on.
Yikes.
Like they're just eating each other alive all over TV, all over like my mail.
Yeah, there's millions of dollars going into like these Republican primaries with out of state dark money. Um,
Hmm.
Special interest groups like Americans for Prosperity that are kind of running the show in some cases, trying to get the right-wing candidates to win out over like the current seat holders, many of which are
Right.
moderate. The nasty nine from the Senate that helped Democrats get legislation passed. They're trying to get them booted in their elections and primaried. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. I mean, I more than anything want a functional legislature. So like even though as Democrats we're in the minority, like I still want them to get shit passed and to do their jobs when they're in the
Yeah.
legislature, like pass the bills they need to pass. Like last session they passed healthcare, like the
Right.
lifted the sunset on Medicaid expansion. Like it was because of that nasty nine, right? Which like the right
Right.
wing is trying to primary. So like I'm not talking positively about Republicans. I'm just being
No.
realistic here.
It'll be interesting. I mean, we just saw how it shook out down in Texas.
Right.
I mean,
Totally.
Trump endorsed the right-wing candidate between Ken Paxton and John Cornyn, and
Totally.
Paxton took it easily.
And they're seriously thinking that Texas is in play and James Tallarico may be the next senator from Texas, which would be absolutely incredible.
Hmm. I did see something that an underrated aspect of if Tallarico flips Texas is that Democrats would have a veto on all like 50 some of Texas's district court judges because senators have a veto power for their own state, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we would essentially be able to prevent a whole slew of crazy right-wing judges getting appointed in Texas.
Totally.
Um, but elections have consequences. Elections
They do.
matter.
Yeah. Every vote counts. It truly does.
Seriously.
And especially, like, I've really been kind of like hammering this in every conversation I have about voting, especially the down ballot races, like your local races. On this ballot, this primary season, you're going to see, the Senate and Congress, but it's going to go all the way down to like local judges, justice of the peace.
Mm-hmm.
I think auditor is on there. Like these are people that are like doing the work in your towns and your
Right.
municipalities. And some of those elected positions actually impact your day-to-day life more
For
than
sure.
the senators working in DC that are facing gridlock and can't do a whole lot right now.
And also these local races, the ones at the very bottom of your ballot, those are the races that get decided by 7 votes, by
Right.
13 votes.
Totally.
Like those are the ones where like your vote really does matter. Your vote always matters, but it has a little bit more weight in those local elections where there's less people involved.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have a question for the peanut gallery. Has anyone been keeping tabs on Mr. Fence Sitter? I'm sorry, Seth Bodnar. Anyone been keeping tabs on him?
Oh, he's the one sitting on the fence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mr. I'm not going to caucus with anybody because that's totally effective in Congress.
Right, right. Just gonna be out on his own making laws.
Signature day was Tuesday.
Okay.
He needed to collect 13 some odd thousand signatures in order to be able to qualify for the November ballot. And it appears as if he's going to have those signatures. That has not been officially confirmed by the Secretary of State, but based on what numbers are publicly available and statements made by his team, at least they seem pretty confident that they're going to get to that threshold. Um, Before we get too far into all of this Seth Bodnar drama, let's get one thing real straight, real clear. Montana Democrats are working to elect Democrats. Point blank, period, end of story. There is no
Correct.
conspiracy. There is no backdoor thing happening. We are the Montana Democratic Party, and we are going to elect Democrats. And because of that, we're going to fully support whichever candidate wins the Democratic primary. And last
Yes.
I checked, which was about half an hour ago, Seth Bodnar is running as an independent. Anyways, it seems like Seth's path to ballot access might not be as smooth as he was hoping for this to go.
Interesting. Tell me more.
They were hoping they were going to get to make their snazzy press release. We collected more than double the amount of needed signatures. We're the best. We're outraising the Republican, whatever. Bozeman Daily Chronicle breaks a story this morning from a woman in Missoula who claims that she was offered a bribe from one
Oh,
of Bodner's signature gatherers.
oh.
She was leaving a concert in Missoula, and the circulator came up and asked if she wanted to sign the petition. She told him no. And when she told him no, his response was, I'll pay you.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Like, it doesn't get much more clear cut than that.
Right. Interesting.
And so, on top of all of this, because his campaign has been kind of shady to begin with, it's all been very vague, very, very blah, very, I don't really stand for anything. I'm not going to caucus with anyone. And when you say you're running as an independent, you should still stand for something. Independent doesn't mean you don't stand for anything or for everything either. And I think he's really struggled to kind of carve out this lane in Montana politics.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. Like when I think of Seth Bodnar in this campaign, quote, campaign he's running, I don't know what he's about. Like I don't know what lane he's in. I don't know what he cares about, like what he's fighting for. I just, but I'm not going to vote for him. So,
I mean, yeah, he's basically a wet noodle of a candidate. But I heard from someone who attended the Pete Buttigieg Montana Plan event in Butte. They were talking to a signature gatherer there for Seth, and the staffer told my friend that they had been flown out from LA because they couldn't get Montanans to gather signatures at the
what?
event.
Wild.
So we're calling up our California staffers, flying them into Butte, frickin' America, the most Montana place in the state. And what?
It doesn't add up to me. It really doesn't. Like, if they were that worried about getting the signatures they need, which, like, yeah, it's a lot, but like, good candidates do that in this state. I mean, it
Yeah,
happens. Like, they do it, and it's not like it's not the steepest hill to climb.
right.
Let's
I mean,
just
there's
say
an
that.
independent candidate running in the Eastern District, and they cleared the signature threshold a long time ago.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, not to put words in people's mouth, but it's like not that hard. And especially like with the amount of money that he's raised, I'm just like, if you raise this kind of money from out of state interest groups and can't meet the signature threshold, there's something wrong here. There's something wrong here.
Right. And like the thing that's like really sending up red flags is like, okay, so you can't get Montanans to gather signatures for you, then maybe you should like take a hint, not hire multiple out of state canvassing firms that pay per signature. So we're just sending out a bunch of people onto the street with a clipboard who are chasing a check. Like, no hate, no shade to them. Do what you got to do. But they're getting paid per signature. Like, they're not there on a salary, they're not working for the candidate. Like, they're there to collect signatures, and their paycheck depends on how many signatures they collect. Also, I'm sure everyone's seen at least a couple of ads from him at this point. His PAC is ran by a guy from California. Apparently, he couldn't get a Montana guy to run his PAC either.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really struggling to see where the roots are in this campaign. Um, like you are a campaign funded by out of state money, staffed by out of staters, allegedly bribing Montana voters.
Right.
Just run as a Republican. I don't see the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just things that don't add up here. Truly. And like you said, maybe take the hint. If like all your funding is coming from out of state, your worker bees are coming from out of state because our in-staters aren't going to do the work for you, that's going to translate to votes down the road. And I don't think that's going to be enough votes.
Right. I mean, your California staffers can't vote here. Sorry. Really, really, truly shameful work out of the Bodnar campaign. Like it's just disappointing. Like you wanted to carve out this own lane for yourself and like be better than party politics, and then you're going to be the worst of party politics all on your own.
Yeah,
It's a
especially
choice.
if bribing is part of the culture and signature gathering in this campaign, that's bad news bears.
All of this is alleged. None of this has been confirmed. But yeah, I definitely think it's a trend to watch if you plan on voting in the Senate race in Montana. And if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to take a wild guess and assume you are. But Andy, last time we talked, we had a very busy weekend ahead of us. Tell me about your weekend. How was the Montana plan stuff?
It was great. I actually lucked out and got to meet Mr. Pete Buttigieg the
Did
day
you?
he delivered his message in Butte. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. He flew into Missoula, where I live, And I was invited to a little gathering of about 10, 12 people that got to meet him, and I got to talk to him over dinner. He's a super cool guy. Like, this is actually the second time I've met Pete.
Oh, nice.
This time was when he was Secretary of Transportation, and he came to Missoula to oversee some of the progress on some of the projects in Missoula County, including our airport. That's when I first met him. But my takeaway
Nice.
from the first time and last week was like he's such a personable politician.
Hmm.
And he's willing to get to know each person he talks to. So like at this dinner, 10, 12 of us at this table, he's not able to like have a conversation with everybody on each
Right.
side. But after dinner, he like made it a point to walk around and spend 5 to 10 minutes with each person and like let them talk to
That's
him
really cool.
what they wanted to talk about. Yeah, like I've never experienced that with like a politician at his level, you know?
Right. Like any politician, but also like a politician that's potentially running for president in 2 years.
Mhm.
Like he's not necessarily being shy about his ambitions. Um, but no, that sounds so fun. Were you guys at Plonk?
We went to Plunk.
Okay, I saw the photo and I saw the brick wall in the background, and I was like, I think that's Plonk.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really fun evening, and I was really fortunate to be invited. And so the reason he was here was to rally for the Montana Plan, also known as the
Hmm.
Parent Election Initiative, which is another signature gathering effort that's been happening. Um, do we know, is there still time before that
Yes.
clears? It starts to
Yep, that's
clear.
still open for a couple more weeks.
That's still open. So if you haven't signed that, you might want to consider signing that. Because what it does is get dark money out of politics. And we are all, I would say, pretty fed up with dark money in politics.
I like can't even watch TV right now.
Yeah. 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 Like that, for example, many campaign ads that we're seeing on television aren't even funded by the campaigns. They're being funded by PACs, special interest
Hmm.
out of state money. And that's something that wasn't happening to this level prior to Citizens United, which was the
Right.
Supreme Court decision, which allowed basically corporations to be viewed as human beings, which we all know they're not. So, yes, Montana is leading the way with the Montana Plan. And yeah, check it
Did
out.
you see that Hawaii passed the Montana Plan through their
Yeah,
legislature?
before Montana did.
Yeah. I
But they
mean,
passed it
like,
right at
here you
different
go,
times.
guys. You can do something with it. Your legislature likes you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to, yeah,
I'm really excited. I think this is picking up a lot of momentum. And I think the dark money, when you can contextualize it, is really cross-cutting
totally.
because everyone sees it all the time. It's not a who you support thing or what issue you support. Like it's a are you a human being who uses the internet?
Hmm.
Like my younger sister's not super politically inclined. And she's like, Georgie, these ads, they're all over my phone, they're all over my TV. And I'm like, okay, do you know the people who like keep asking you to sign things? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so there's one called the Montana Plan. And the whole point is to get the groups who put all the ads on your TV out of politics.
Right.
And she was like, oh, really? Actually, like, like
It's a
I,
real
I
thing.
I have to sign this thing and then it has to pass and then like this gets fixed. And I was like, hypothetically, yeah.
Right.
Like it's a very easy issue for people to understand because of how pervasive it's been in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it's generally bipartisan. I mean, even most Republicans can get on board with this.
Mhm.
Ones that don't are the ones that have money because they know they can buy influence in 2026
Why run for Congress when you can buy a congressman?
when you can just buy it. Yeah, right. So,
But while you were hanging out with Mayor Pete, I was in good old Miles City, Montana. I'm actually wearing my
the
shirt.
bucking horse.
Yes, I'm actually
Yes.
wearing my shirt.
I'm still
Um,
jealous. I've never been there. I grew up in Eastern Montana and I've never been there.
you gotta come. It was so fun. We purchased cowboy hats while we
Cool.
were out there.
Love it. Love it.
we did breakfast on Main Street, corner of Ninth and Main, just out in the street. We had chairs and tables everywhere. We had big Blackstone grills out on the sidewalk. We did breakfast for everybody. It was free. We had candidates there to talk with voters and answer questions. Um, Andy, how much food do you think an event like this would take?
Okay. My hunch is 100 pounds of sausage.
What I was told from our chefs, we cooked 320 eggs,
Okay.
50 pounds of sausage, and 10 like gallon buckets of pancake batter.
Wait, is that what I said? 50 pounds of sausage? Did I
You said
just?
you said 100 pounds of
Oh,
sausage.
okay. Okay. And how many pancakes?
10 gallons.
10 gallons of pancake batter. That's a lot of pancakes.
You know the like buckets you get at like Ace Hardware?
Sure.
Kind of like those.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I worked at Perkins this summer
Oh,
in college, and yeah, our pancake batter was mixed in these 5 gallon buckets.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We had about 200 people or so. Really folks of all walks, people who were visiting for the rodeo, people who lived in Miles City their whole life, young people, old people. We had someone with a Trump hat come through.
For breakfast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like he came up, like he had a Trump was right about everything hat on.
Hmm.
And he like came up and was like, what's going on? And we're like, oh, well, we're the Montana Democrats. Like we're serving breakfast. And he was like, is it breakfast for everybody? And we were like, yeah, it's free breakfast, bro. Like, come on, like, come get food. And he like sat down and like hung
Okay.
out and like ate his breakfast. And I'm pretty sure he like talked to a candidate or two.
Okay.
So all in all, I would call it a raging success. It was a great
Maybe
time.
a potential swing voter you found there.
That's what I mean. Like when it comes to connecting with voters, this national stuff, at the end of the day, it's so big, it's so abstract.
Right.
Can I talk to you as my neighbor? Can we like sit here and share a meal and speak to each other like we both live here and we both want what's best for each other? Do you get what I mean? Like if we can't talk to each other as people and like share a meal, even if like you have a Trump hat on, I would never wear a Trump hat. You literally could not catch me dead in a Trump hat. But like, can you sit there and eat breakfast with them anyways and build the bridge and help us find our way out of this? Because like cutting everyone who voted differently off isn't going to do it either.
Right.
So it takes showing up and it takes like if it's serving breakfast on a street corner, it's serving breakfast on a street corner.
Yeah.
Whatever
Well,
we've got to do to reach people.
kudos to you all. It sounds like fun.
It's great. And I'm glad you got to meet Mayor Pete. I'm glad you got to see a bit of Missoula. I miss her so much. I'm glad the event in Butte looked like it went off without a hitch. Looked like the theater was packed, line was around the block.
They had a full house. They live streamed and recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
But like after he spoke, there was a town hall in which he took questions
Mm.
for like an hour. It was a
Really nice.
long time. But yeah, it's all recorded. You can watch it. I think if you just go to the Transparent Election Initiative's website or the Montana,
Great.
you can probably find the full recording.
Great. You can catch the stream of that. If you are still on the fence about who you're voting for in this primary, you only have a couple of days to make your choice. We have the streams of federal debates on our YouTube page at Montana Democratic Party. So those are there in full from the April debate. And hopefully some of those questions can help you sort your answer out. But I think that's all we've got. So we will talk to you all after the primary.
All right. Get those
Yeah.
ballots in.
See ya.